Grace and peace, everybody. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. You know what we're about to do. Now, if you're one of those people that, for some reason or another, felt that Umar Johnson was a deep thinker or that he was, some people will call him brilliant, I'm going to grant you the grace that you just made a mistake. And you might have just got caught up in the rhetoric, caught up in all the triple speak, caught up in all the triple speak, caught up in all the triple speak, and you just kind of fell for it. I'm going to give you that grace. So come on up here to the front of the church. Come on up here. We're going to watch a video right here, and it's just bad. Like, the more you start to stop and think and just sit down and listen to what he's actually saying, the more you realize this guy was just flying by the seat of his pants. He was just saying things that seemed smart, or maybe things that you wanted to believe, or saying things that made you believe that he was above the hoi polloi. But really, when you stop and think, you step back from it and listen, you realize he sounds like a complete and utter crazy man. So we're going to watch here where Umar Johnson is talking about HBCUs signing licensing agreements with tennis shoemakers. And a lot of you all know that I'm a proud alumni of Morehouse College, class of 1999. And a lot of you all know that I am a rabid Adidas fan. Well, needless to say, this was right in my wheelhouse. This conversation really stoked my interest. I wanted to hear what Umar had to say about this. And I was let down. Well, actually, I wasn't let down. I was not surprised that it was complete and utter clownery. Now, I do want to bring up one thing before we get into it, because I did edit the video to cut out all the triple speak. I did edit the video to cut out all the triple speak. I did edit the video to cut out all the triple speak. It was painful, but I did cut it out because it was just ridiculous. He was just yammering. Why does he say HBCUs as if he can't say historically Black colleges and universities, or Black colleges, or colleges in general? I mean, we already know, you've already said HBCUs. And maybe I'll just leave the link to the full video down in the description or in the comment section. Let me know. It's just weird that he qualifies every HBC. He'll even say the name of a school, but say the HBCU Morehouse College University, HBCU Clark Atlanta University, HBCU. It just seems weird why he does it. And I have no idea why he does it. So I just want to get that off my chest before we bring the video in. Let's bring the video in. Let's have some fun. Let's go.
I just received word that some of the HBCUs are entering into a contract allegedly with Adidas.
Shout out to
Adidas allegedly is going to start selling HBCU tennis shoes, basketball shoes, and other athletic paraphernalia and apparel. Here's what I want to say to the HBCUs.
Okay, before he says that, I do want to let you know, I did look up. It is Morgan State. They had signed an agreement. Alabama State, Grambling, apparently, Prairie View, A&M. They all signed an agreement back in September 2024. Okay, so now you know. Let's go.
You signing a deal with any non-African company opens us up to exploitation.
Is that not comical that Umar Johnson has been exploiting the Black community for decades? Dare I say multiple decades? Is that not funny to anybody that he has been exploiting? And by the way, is there an African shoemaker? But wait, he's going to say something else in a moment. I promise you, you're going to be like, come on, man, for real?
Sometimes you don't have a choice but to sign a deal with a non-African company. I understand. But when it comes to shoes, when we have a Black man named Jan Mexlinger from Pennsylvania, a Black man invented the machine to make shoes. So I need the HBCUs to explain something to me. If Black people invented shoemaking, if we invented the machine to make shoes, help me understand why the HBCUs of America cannot create their own shoe manufacturing company putting ex-offenders to work, putting unemployed Africans to work, giving HBCU students valuable entrepreneurial experience. Help me understand why we can't make our own sneakers.
Help me understand why you can't make your own school. Like, it's a little nose blind for you to be berating colleges and universities that are actually putting out a product every year upon year. Dare I say, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of students have graduated since you've been talking about starting your school. It does seem a little bit weird that you're busy talking about them and they're putting out a product. They're just not in the shoemaking business. They're not. And by the way, Metzinger did not invent the machine to make the shoes. He invented the machine to stitch the uppers to the soles. It's called the lasting. Because otherwise it was done by hand. If you ever watch a cobbler video when they're restoring a pair of shoes, you'll see the lasting activity. There's a whole bunch of other parts to it as well. It's not just that. So he did not invent the machine to make shoes. There's not a machine. There's several machines that are involved and tools involved in making shoes. But I don't expect Umar Johnson to be intelligent in this because he is a complete and utter fool.
You're going to let Adidas exploit the history of your university.
You're exploiting the history of Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass, everybody you name to push your school. Because you still ain't got no school. I have several pairs of Adidas. I'm wearing some Adidas socks right now. Explain to me. I'm trying to tell you.
Just so they can put your name on a pair of basketball shoes.
Yeah.
How about you buy a whole bunch of sneakers yourself?
Hold on, wait. Put down whatever you're drinking, because you have not heard something this. I'm sorry. If you ever thought Umar Johnson was intelligent, this right here, he is going out of his own mouth tell you that he is a swindler and a hustler. If you ever doubt it, he's about to tell you. Here it comes.
The history of your university, just so they can put your name on a pair of basketball shoes. How about you buy a whole bunch of sneakers yourself and have somebody put your name on the basketball shoe? I'm bringing this up because you're going to lose most of your profit because of who you're dealing with. Why can't y'all get a whole bunch of cheap sneakers from China or whatever and pay somebody to put your logo on the sneaker and sell them to your alumni, sell them to your students, sell them to your faculty, your staff, sell them to your immediate community? Adidas.
So you would rather buy some knockoff shoes from China, put your logo on them, so you now have counterfeit shoes, undercutting and basically being criminal, but we'll digress there. Put your school emblem and logo on the shoe and sell it to all the community as if these are the right kind of shoes. So if they're knockoffs and they're not made right, who's that going to look bad upon?
It's going to make hundreds of millions of dollars off of this agreement. I'm tired of us.
Adidas is going to probably did make a very large profit off of that, but the schools were given a licensing contract. So they licensed their name and their logos to Adidas. And I believe Nike has one as well. I got to double check that, but I'm almost certain Nike has one as well. But they licensed their names to these companies. And sure, the companies made money, but don't be not deceived. The schools made money as well.
Allowing people to appropriate our culture in the name of cash. The HBCU tradition is too sacred. It is too valuable. It is too important for us to let Adidas exploit the HBCU culture when you're only going to get pennies on a dollar. Why are we so comfortable?
How do you know that they're only get pennies on the dollar, Umar? You literally said you heard this from the beginning. So you didn't sound like you were well versed in it. You did any study on it, didn't do any research. You just kind of going by the seat of your pants. How do you know they're going to get pennies on the dollar? But even in that, if the school is given $10 million, $20 million up front and Adidas makes $100 million, why are you worried about that? They sold your alumni a great product, fantastic shoes or jerseys or hoodies or whatever, hats, and your alumni are happy. The school is happy. Adidas is happy. Adidas shareholders are happy. Why are we listening to you, Umar? That's the thing. And the reason I wanted to do this, I got a few seconds left. The reason I wanted to play this video is because Umar at one time used to sound, this is when Umar used to sound like a thought leader and people used to pay attention to him because he didn't have a lot of scandal to his name. But now that his name is really, his star has lost his shine, and people really can see behind the curtain that the emperor has no clothes. Now this stuff sounds even more ridiculous than ever. I'm going to finish this up. Let's go.
Comfortable with economic slavery. Why are we so comfortable with financial slavery in the name of Nat Turner? I'm tired of us allowing people to appropriate our culture in the name of cash.
And that was Umar. And I really want y'all to go back and think. I mean, you probably noticed this now. A lot of the things that people were giving him a pass and a nod and a wink to really don't make any sense. Buy some cheap shoes from China instead of just having a global brand sign with you to promote your product. Do you expect your basketball team to be wearing some knockoff shoes from China that y'all just found somebody to paint the names on, or a global brand that can ship tons of shoes in pretty much on a dime? Which one makes more sense to you? Because Umar, you make no sense at all. But I digress. Let me know what you think down below. I did see that Nike had some agreements with other HBCUs in the past, but nothing new. Adidas is the most recent that I saw. I'm pretty sure Reebok has had one as well. Probably some other brands out there. But the idea, and let me just add this as well. An HBCU, historically black college and university, is in a niche. It's in a little pocket, if you will. It's not in the grand scheme of things, not on the names of everybody. When you say Michigan, or you say North Carolina, or you say Duke, or you say these other large names of these what's called predominantly white colleges or just traditional colleges, well, historically black colleges and universities often are not in those mixes. But to be able to be introduced and courted by a huge global athletic brand like Adidas or Nike, and be able to know that they're going to provide your alumni and your students and those supporters with a beautiful, great product that's going to get your name out there more. I'm sorry, explain to me where's the downside to that? Where is the downside above you just shoehorning it and y'all down in the dorm got the RAs painting the logos on the shoes so that y'all can get them out there? That's the most ridiculous thing. And so thankfully these schools just ignored Umar, but I just want to know why he's been saying this. How long has he been saying this type of craziness? And we've just been letting it slide. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you so very much for rocking with us. Until next time, everybody, grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the JWhit Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.